Alright, we're going to do a pre-trip inspection on this Chevy bucket truck here. First thing we're going to do is make sure it's sitting level, not leaning left or right, no tire or suspension issues, no big puddles of fluid underneath, not leaking any antifreeze, oil, or anything. So now we're ready to start the inspection. We'll start up here at the top. We have our clearance lights and marker lights. We have our turn signals, four-way flashers, headlights, high and low beams. They're all mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, loose. No moisture in the lenses, and they're all the proper color. My bumper is mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose, and it's proper height off the ground. I'll come in here a little closer and I'll look at my windshield. My windshield's mounted properly. It's not cracked, damaged, loose, or discolored in any way. There's no illegal stickers, and it has a good seal around it. My windshield wipers are mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose. The blades are sitting flush against the windshield with no tears or excessive wear, and we'll check their adjustment or their operation when we go inside. We'll come over here and check my mirrors. My mirrors are mounted properly. They're not cracked, damaged, or loose. We look at the lenses. The lenses are also mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or discolored, and we'll check their adjustment once we sit inside. Our hood latch was mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose, and I've already released it. Same way on the other side. So now we're going to raise the hood. We'll come over here on this side, on the right side, and we'll look in here. Don't see anything sticking out that looks damaged or torn or frayed or anything like that. So we're going to start with the alternator. Our alternator is right there. It is mounted properly. It's not cracked, damaged, or loose. It's belt driven. The wires on the back are nice and tight. It's not frayed or torn or corroded. We'll check our water pump, which is right in there. The water pump is mounted properly. It's not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. It's also belt driven. They're both driven by the serpentine belt, which is mounted properly. No excessive wear, no tears, no cuts, and you can't pull the belt out more than a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. We come up here and we'll check our radiator. Our radiator is mounted properly. It's not cracked, damaged, or loose or leaking. The two hoses on top of it are securely mounted with no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks on any of the hoses. We're going to come down and do our suspension. Our suspension, we have a front and a rear spring hanger. They're both mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose. We have our leaf springs. They're mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, loose, or shifted out of place. They're secured to the axle by the two U-bolts. The U-bolts are secured properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose. And then I have my shock and my shock mount. It's mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose, or leaking. Now we're going to do our brakes. Our brakes hose is mounted properly, no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks. We have our brake chamber and C-clamp. They're both mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. We have our push rod coming out of the chamber and our slack adjuster. They're both mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose, and you can't pull the push rod out more than 1 inch. And then we'll check our drum and pads. Our drum and pads are mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, loose, or contaminated with any oil, and the pads are not worn dangerously thin. Then I'll check my tire. My tire has to be a virgin tire, means no recaps. Has more than 4/32 of tread with even tread wear. No cuts, gouges, or bulges on the sidewalls, inside or out. I find my valve stem, and my valve stem is nice and straight. It's not cracked, bent, or broken, or leaking. It has a cap on it, and we take a tire pressure gauge and check our air pressure to make sure it's filled to manufacturer's specifications. Then I check my rim. My rim is mounted properly. It's not cracked, bent, or broken. There's no illegal welds, no cracks between the lug holes, no elongated lug holes. All my lug nuts are present, nothing's loose or missing. There's no dust trails or shiny threads that would indicate one is loose. And then I check my wheel seal. My wheel seal is mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose. All the bolts are present, nothing's loose or missing or leaking. Now I'll go to the other side. Over here I have my antifreeze reservoir mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose or leaking. Has a cap on it and it's filled to manufacturer specifications. All the hoses coming off of it are securely fastened with no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks. I have my power steering reservoir. It's mounted properly. It's not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. It has a cap on it and it's filled to manufacturer specifications. You can see that right there. This one here is also filled to manufacturer specifications, if I didn't say that. We have our windshield washer fluid reservoir. It's mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose, or leaking, and it has a cap on it. All the hoses are securely fastened with no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks. We go in here, we have our power steering pump and our air compressor. They're both gear driven. They're both mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking any air or fluids. I'll check my oil, pull my dipstick out, wipe it off, or put it back in, and then pull it back out and make sure it's at normal operating levels. And then I have my steering. I have my steering column right here. It's mounted properly, not cracked, bent, or broken. There's universal joints at each end that are free of debris. I have my gearbox here. Gearbox is mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose, or leaking. There's no missing or loose bolts. The hoses coming off the gearbox are securely mounted with no abrasions, bulges, or cuts. And then I have my steering components, 3 steering components. I have my pitman arm, my drag link, and my tire rod. All 3 are mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose. They're secured with castle nuts and cotter pins, and there's no loose or missing bushings or worn bushings. And that's everything on this side, so I'll close down the hood. Latch the hood on this side. Latch the hood on this side. Now I'm going to check my door. My door hinges are in good condition. They're not cracked, damaged, or loose. They're all mounted properly. It's got a good seal around it. No sign of any moisture or anything getting inside the lenses. My fire extinguisher is back there. It's mounted and fully charged. I have my 3 triangles here, and my extra fuses are also inside the door there. My handrail is mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose. My steps here on the fuel tank are mounted properly. They're not cracked, damaged, or loose. And I have my fuel tank, which my fuel tank and straps are mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose. And it's not leaking. It also has a cap on it. There's my air tank. My air tank is mounted properly. It's not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. None of the air lines coming off of it are securely mounted with no abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks. I come back here to the middle, and there's my drive shaft. I'm gonna check my drive shaft. It's mounted properly, not cracked, bent, or broken. Has universal joints at each end that are free of debris. And then there's my frame and cross members. They're mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose, and it has no loose or missing bolts. And then I'll come over here, and I'm going to start again with the suspension. I have my spring hangers, front and rear, mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose. I have my leaf springs, which are mounted properly. They're not cracked, damaged, loose, or shifted out of place. They're secured to the axle by the U-bolts. U-bolts are nice and tight, not cracked, damaged, or loose. Then I have my air brakes. My air brake hose is mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, loose, or have any abrasions, bulges, cuts, or leaks. There's brake chamber and C-clamp. It's mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. I have my push rod and slack adjuster. They're mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose, and I can't pull the push rod out more than 1 inch. And then I have my drum and pads. They're mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, loose, or contaminated with any oil, and the pads are not worn dangerously thin. Now I'm going to do my tires. Back here I have 2 tires. Both have to have at least 2 30-seconds tread with even tread wear. No cuts, gouges, or bulges on the sidewalls. I find my valve stems. My valve stems are nice and straight. They're not cracked, bent, or broken or leaking. They have caps on it. And I check the air pressure with a tire pressure gauge to make sure both tires are filled to manufacturer specifications. Then I check in between the 2 tires, make sure there's no debris or foreign objects, and both tires are flush together. There's no gap between the rims. Checking the rims, has a good bead around it, no sign of any leaks. The rims are mounted properly, not cracked, bent, or broken. No illegal welds. No cracks between the lug holes. No elongated lug holes. All my lug nuts are present. None of them are loose or missing. There's no dust trails or shiny spots to show one would be loose. And then my wheel seal back here is a sealed system. It's mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, loose, or leaking. All nuts and bolts are present and tight. When I look down the side of the truck, I see my side marker lights, my reflective tape are all mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, loose, and the proper color. Back here on the back, I have my brake lights, tail lights, turn signals, 4-way flashers, reverse lights, and marker lights, reflective tape and reflectors. They are all mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, loose, or discolored, and they're all the proper color. I have my rear end protection, which is mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose, and these rear steps are also mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose. Come down this other side, looking for anything that's different. And somewhere the exhaust is. So let's see. We'll just say it's right here. The exhaust is mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose, or leaking, and there's no sign of any soot. We have our battery. Well, right there's the exhaust too. You can see it right there, the exhaust. And we have our battery. Our battery's inside here. It's mounted properly, not cracked, damaged, or loose, or leaking. The wires on top are mounted properly. They're nice and tight. There's no frayed wires, corroded wires, or burnt wires. Now it's time to go inside. Three points of contact. I can't do it with this thing hardly. Grab a hold there, pull on up. First thing we do is pull out our seat belt, put our seat belt on, make sure there's no cuts, tears, or gouges on the seat belt. Check our mirrors. Make sure our mirrors are adjusted properly for us, okay? And then we look at our windshield. Windshield has no cracks or damage on the inside, no sign of any leaks. So now we're gonna get ready to start it up. First thing we're gonna do, make sure it's in neutral and our parking brake's set. So now we're gonna go ahead and start it up. All right. So start it up, turn our lights on. And while the engine's building up, we're gonna check all our pressure. There's our RPM gauge. Make sure it works. Come over here, our oil pressure is at normal operating level. Now that's hard to see. Our fuel is at half a tank, it's enough for this trip. Our battery level is charging. And our engine temperature is at normal operating level. Over here we have our air gauge, which is building. And we're going to check our defrost. Turn it over here on defrost, turn it up high. Reach it up here and feel it. Then we can turn it back to wherever we want it. And then we're going to check our lights and stuff inside here. I'm not much a cameraman, so Check our left turn signal, right turn signal, high beam, low beam, four-way flashers. Alright. Windshield wipers and washers. Our steering wheel has no more than 2 inches of play in the 20-inch steering wheel. And we'll check our horn. Alright, we're waiting on the air pressure to get up here. Once we hear the sneeze, we'll shut it off. There's the sneeze. So now we know we can go ahead and shut the vehicle off. We can turn our lights back off. And we're going to release our parking brake. Alright, so that's the way we always start. Engine off, brakes released. Now we're turn the key back to the on position. First thing we check is our ABS light to make sure it comes on and goes back off. And then we'll look over here and watch our air gauge for at least 15 seconds to make sure we don't have any sign of any air loss. Alright, 15 seconds, no sign of any air loss, so that's a good test. So the first thing we're going to do is the applied test. We're going to apply the brake for 1 minute, and during that time period we can't lose more than 3 pounds of air, and we want to ask the tester to time us. So when he says begin, we're going to step the foot on the brake and we'll just hold it there till he says time's up. When he says time's up, we'll take our foot back off the brake, and that was a good test. Now we're going to look for our low air warning light, and I'm not sure where it is. I think it's in here. So we're going to pump the brakes until the low air warning buzzer comes on, and it has to come on before 55 psi. There it is. There's the low air warning buzzer, and it came on before 55 psi. The final test is the parking brake test. So we're going to continue to pump the brakes until the parking brake kicks out, and it has to pop out somewhere between 20 and 45 psi, which it did, and that's a good test. So now you'd start the truck up, build your air pressure back up to 120 to 140, and get your chalk out from underneath you, and then have the tester go out and check all your lights. Once the tester checks all your lights, then you get back in and you'll back it up, get your chalk block out, and then you'll do your tug test, brake set, put it in dry or put it in gear, try to pull off, and then after that we'll do service brake test where you put it in gear, release your brake, go 5 miles an hour with your hands on both sides of the steering wheel, and come to a complete stop at 5 miles an hour, seeing if the vehicle pulls left or right. And that's the complete test. You're never done until you do the tug test and the service brake test. That's it.